The office buzzes with excitement as I watch Ethan pace back and forth, his hands flying in the air, outlining his grand plans for the new project. His enthusiasm is contagious, but as I sit in my chair, a strange feeling begins to settle in my stomach. Is it excitement or something else? I can't help but feel that a whirlwind is about to engulf my life, and I am helpless to stop it. "Can you believe the budget we've been given?" Ethan asks, his blue eyes shining with ambition. "This could change everything for us." "Yeah, it's amazing," I reply, forcing a smile while my mind drifts to thoughts I can't quite grasp. Ethan is so caught up in his dreams that he doesn't notice the unease creeping into my heart. Later that afternoon, I meet Marcus at the cafe down the street. The moment he walks in, I feel a jolt of electricity in the air. He's charming, with a slight smile that sends my heart racing. As we sit down, the space between us feels charged, thick with unspoken tension, and an attraction that makes my cheeks flush. "Thanks for meeting me," Marcus says, his voice smooth like honey. "I've been looking forward to this." "Me too," I reply, my heart fluttering as I glance at him. Our conversation flows easily, but I can't shake the feeling that there's more beneath the surface. Each laugh, each shared glance feels like a secret we're both keeping. As we talk, I become increasingly aware of the chemistry between us. Simple exchanges turn into lingering glances, and I catch myself brushing my fingers against his hand, igniting sparks that both thrill and terrify me. What am I doing? I can't remember the last time I felt this way. The internal conflict starts to brew within me. I think of Ethan, the man I've built a life with, and guilt creeps in like a shadow. How can I feel this way about someone else? But then, there's the thrill of something new, something that makes me feel alive. I want to push the thoughts away, but they cling to me, and I find myself drawn deeper into this connection with Marcus. "Do you believe in fate?" Marcus asks suddenly, his eyes searching mine. I don't know," I stammer, caught off guard. "Why do you ask?" "Because I feel like we were meant to meet," he says, leaning closer, like something bigger is at play here. My heart races at his words. Is he right? Am I supposed to be here, in this moment, with him? I glance down, my mind racing with the implications. I can't ignore the feelings swirling inside me. The thrill of this unexpected attraction is intoxicating, but it brings a rush of fear as well. "Maybe," I finally reply, my voice barely above a whisper. "But what about everything else?" Ethan's face flashes in my mind. The stability of our life together. The years we've spent building something real. I feel the weight of my commitment pressing down on me. Marcus watches me closely, and I can see the concern in his eyes. "I don't want to complicate things for you. I just can't help but feel this connection." My heart pounds as I grapple with my emotions. What do I want? The comfort of my life with Ethan, or the thrill of the unknown with Marcus? I feel torn, trapped between two worlds, each promising something I crave in different ways. As we wrap up our meeting, I can't shake the feeling that something has shifted within me. I leave the cafe, my heart racing and my mind swirling. I glance back at Marcus, who stands there, watching me with an intensity that sends a shiver down my spine. What does this mean for me? I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the choices ahead. What will I do next? As I sit on the couch, I find myself lost in a flashback, drifting back to a time when Ethan and I were deeply in love. I can almost hear his laughter ringing in my ears, the way it used to fill our small apartment with warmth. Those were the days when everything felt right. We would spend hours talking about our dreams, sharing our hopes for the future. I remember the weekends spent cuddled on the couch, watching old movies. Life was simple and sweet, but the warmth of those memories fades as I feel the weight of monotony creeping in. I look at Ethan, who is busy poring over his work. His dedication is admirable, but it's like a wall has grown between us. I can't help but compare it to the excitement Marcus brings into my life. Every time we meet, my heart races. With Marcus, I feel alive. I can't shake the thrill of our conversations, the way he makes me laugh, and the spark in his eyes that draws me in. One evening, as Ethan talks about his latest project, I feel a pang of guilt. "You're always working," I say, trying to keep my tone light. "I know," he replies, glancing up briefly before returning to his laptop. "But it's important for our future." I nod, but my heart sinks. It's not just about the future, it's about the present. I miss the connection we once had. I glance at my phone, the screen lighting up with a message from Marcus. My stomach flutters. I realize it's not just excitement. It's a need, a craving for something more than the routine we've fallen into. The next time I meet Marcus, it feels different. As we sit in the cafe, our hands brush against each other while reaching for our drinks. It's a small touch, but it sends a thrill through me. "We should do this more often," he says, his voice low and inviting. "Yeah, I'd like that," I reply, my pulse quickening. I can feel the unspoken tension hanging in the air. It's intoxicating, and it makes me feel alive in a way I haven't felt in a long time. As our meetings grow more frequent, I find myself torn. I enjoy the comfort of my life with Ethan, yet I'm drawn to the excitement Marcus brings. I catch myself daydreaming about what it would be like to be with him. It scares me, but it's also thrilling. One evening, after a particularly enjoyable outing with Marcus, I sit in my car, staring at the house I share with Ethan. "What are you doing?" I whisper to myself, feeling the weight of my choices. I want to be honest with Ethan, but I'm scared of hurting him. The following day, I can't shake the feeling of unrest. I sit at my desk, trying to focus on work, but my mind keeps drifting back to Marcus. "You okay?" My coworker Sarah asks, noticing my distraction. "Yeah, just thinking," I reply, forcing a smile. "Thinking about what?" she presses, her eyes keen. I hesitate, unsure of how to explain the turmoil inside me. "Just life, I guess," I say finally, avoiding her gaze. As the days pass, I realize my emotional needs are being neglected. I feel alone in a relationship that once brought me so much joy. I start to seek solace in Marcus's presence, and each time we meet, I feel a sense of comfort that I haven't felt in a while. "Why do you look so deep in thought?" Marcus asks one evening, a playful smile on his lips. "I'm just figuring things out," I respond, my heart racing at the thought of confessing my struggles. "Whatever it is, you know I'm here for you," he says, his tone sincere. It's in moments like these that I feel the pull towards him grow stronger, making it harder to ignore the growing divide between Ethan and me. I find myself standing at a crossroads, caught between the comfort of my life with Ethan and the intoxicating allure of what could be with Marcus. Each encounter with Marcus makes me feel alive, but it also deepens my internal struggle. I know I need to make a choice, but the thought of losing either one terrifies me. The evening air was thick with anticipation as I found myself at Marcus's house, a cozy space filled with soft lighting and the faint scent of candles. I could feel the electric charge between us, each glance and smile hanging in the air like unspoken promises. I had never felt so alive, yet so on edge. "Do you want something to drink?" Marcus asked, his voice low and inviting. He moved closer, and I could see the warmth in his eyes. "Sure, just water is fine," I replied, trying to sound casual, but my heart raced. As he turned to fetch a glass, I took a moment to soak in the atmosphere. The tension was palpable, and I could sense the urgency in the way he moved. When he returned, our hands brushed as he handed me the glass. It felt electric, sending a shiver down my spine. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately," he said, his gaze piercing through me. I swallowed hard, feeling heat rise to my cheeks. "Really? I mean, I've been thinking about you too," I admitted, surprised by my own honesty. "Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one." His voice dropped even lower, and I could see the desire flicker in his eyes. "There's something I want to talk to you about." My stomach knotted with both excitement and dread. "What is it?" "Let's not beat around the bush anymore. I want you, and I think you want me too." He stepped closer, his breath warm against my skin. In that moment, everything else faded away. The worries about Ethan, the guilt that had been creeping in. All I felt was the pull towards Marcus, the promise of something new and thrilling. "Marcus, I started, but my words faltered. Did I really want this? Did I want him? Before I could finish, my phone buzzed in my pocket, slicing through the moment like a knife. I fished it out, my heart sinking as I saw Ethan's name on the screen. The text read, "Hey, just checking in. How's your evening going?" The weight of his message crashed over me, shattering the bubble of passion that had enveloped us. Guilt rushed in, filling the space between Marcus and me. I need to respond," I stammered, my voice shaky. "Is everything okay?" Marcus asked, his expression shifting from desire to concern. "Yeah, it's just Ethan. He wants to know how I'm doing," I said, trying to sound nonchalant, but I could feel the tension rising again. "Do you want to talk to him?" Marcus's voice was gentle but firm, and I could see the conflict in his eyes. He understood my situation, yet he was here, wanting me. I stared at my phone, my fingers hovering over the screen. "I don't know. I feel so torn right now," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. Marcus stepped closer, his presence grounding me. "You have to decide what you want. I can't make that choice for you, but I can tell you that I want you here, with me." His words ignited a fire within me, one I didn't know I had. But the thought of Ethan's face, the love we shared, made me hesitate. What if this is just a phase? What if I hurt Ethan? "Life is too short to live in what-ifs," Marcus said softly. "You deserve to be happy, truly happy. You're not just a partner, you're a person with desires." His words struck a chord deep within me, and I could feel the internal battle raging inside. The excitement of being with Marcus was intoxicating, but the weight of my commitment to Ethan was suffocating. As I looked into Marcus's eyes, I saw the desire and vulnerability mirrored in his gaze, and for a moment, I allowed myself to imagine what it would be like to take that leap. But just then, my phone buzzed again, a reminder of the life waiting for me outside this moment. "Maybe I should talk to him," I finally said, my voice trembling. "I need to figure this out." Marcus nodded, though I could see the disappointment in his eyes. "I understand. Just know that I'm here, and I want to explore this with you. Whenever you're ready." I took a deep breath, feeling the heaviness of my decision looming over me. As I typed a response to Ethan, I could feel the pull of two worlds colliding, and I knew that whatever choice I made next would change everything. That night, I found myself sitting on the edge of my bed, a blank notebook resting on my lap. The soft glow of a lamp illuminated the pages, inviting me to spill my tangled emotions onto the paper. I took a deep breath, trying to gather my thoughts. My heart raced at the weight of the choices ahead of me. With my pen in hand, I began to write. Ethan is my rock. He has been there for me through thick and thin. Our relationship is built on trust and stability. I paused, feeling a twinge of guilt as I thought of Marcus. But Marcus, he makes me feel alive. When I'm with him, everything seems possible. I scribbled furiously, the words flowing as my heart battled my mind. As I wrote, memories flooded back. I could still hear Ethan's laughter in the kitchen, the way he would dance around while cooking, making the mundane feel special. But then, I thought about the spark Marcus ignited in me. The way his eyes twinkled when he talked about his dreams. The way his hand brushed against mine, sending shivers down my spine. I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. What do I really want? I whispered to myself, feeling the heaviness of my own question. I set the pen down and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Do I choose the comfort of my marriage or the excitement of the unknown? The silence in the room felt deafening. My heart ached as I thought about Ethan. He deserved my loyalty. But then the thrill of Marcus's presence danced in my mind, calling to me like a siren. Just then, my phone buzzed, breaking the stillness. It was a message from Kelly, a friend we both shared. Hey, I ran into Ethan today. He seems a bit out of sorts. Everything okay? My stomach twisted. I knew what she meant. Ethan had been quieter lately, lost in his work, and I was the cause of it. I typed a quick response. Yeah, just busy with work. Thanks for checking in. But deep down, I felt the weight of my secret pressing against my chest. Kelly responded almost immediately. Just be careful. You know how fragile things can be. Those words hung in the air, deepening my internal struggle. Fragile, I repeated softly, the word echoing in my mind. Was my marriage as fragile as she suggested? Was I ready to risk everything for a chance with Marcus? After a few minutes, I decided I needed to see Marcus again. The longing inside me was too intense to ignore. I could feel my heart pounding at the thought of him, and I knew I had to confront my feelings. I took a deep breath and sent him a message. Can we meet? I need to talk. There was a moment of hesitation before he replied, Of course. When and where? I felt a rush of anticipation as I typed back, How about tomorrow at the cafe? I hit send, my heart racing. I was stepping onto a path that could lead to joy or destruction. The thrill of seeing Marcus again mixed with fear, and I couldn't quite predict where this would lead. As I prepared for bed, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. What am I doing? I whispered into the dark room. I had to face my conscience. I had to figure out who I was and what I truly wanted. That night was restless. Thoughts of Ethan and Marcus swirled in my mind, battling for dominance. I felt trapped between the life I had built and the exhilarating unknown that beckoned me. The weight of my choices loomed large, and as sleep eluded me, I realized I was on the brink of a decision that could change everything. Tomorrow, I would meet Marcus, and I knew that whatever happened would define the course of my life. Would I embrace the thrill of the unknown, or would I cling to the stability I had always known? The answer felt just out of reach, but the yearning in my heart pushed me forward, eager to confront whatever awaited me. As I sat in my small apartment, staring out the window at the bustling city below, I felt a strange mix of emotions swirling inside me. The city lights twinkled like stars, but all I could see was the shadow of my life with Ethan. I had changed so much during this emotional journey, and I started to see parts of myself that had been asleep for too long. The thrill that Marcus brought into my life made me realize how stagnant I had become. I remembered the last time I was with Marcus. The air was thick with desire, but now I felt confused. I needed to confront him. I picked up my phone and texted him, Can we talk? I need to see you. My heart raced as I hit send, knowing this conversation could change everything. When we met at a cozy cafe, the mood was different than before. I could feel the tension between us, like a rubber band pulled tight. I took a deep breath and said, Marcus, we need to talk about us. He looked at me, his eyes searching mine. I've been waiting for you to say that. What do you want to know? I want to know what this is. what we are doing. My voice trembled slightly. I'm married to Ethan, and I can't ignore that. Marcus leaned forward, his expression serious. I know it's complicated, but there's something between us, something real. I can't pretend it doesn't matter. The weight of my guilt pressed down on me like a heavy blanket. I felt like I was suffocating under the lies I told Ethan. This is wrong, I whispered, feeling the anxiety creep into my chest. I can't keep lying to him. Then let's figure this out together, Marcus said softly. You deserve to be happy, but you have to decide what that means for you. As I listened to him, I felt a wave of clarity wash over me. I was in a tug of war between the comfort of my marriage and the thrill of something new. I had to confront my feelings, and I couldn't do it alone. I need to talk to a friend, I admitted, feeling a pit in my stomach. Later that evening, I met with Sarah, my closest friend. She could always see through my facade. As we sat across from each other at a small table, I poured out my heart. I don't know what to do, Sarah. I feel trapped. Marcus makes me feel alive, but Ethan is my husband. Have you talked to Ethan about how you feel? She asked, concern etched on her face. I shook my head. No, I don't want to hurt him. He's been nothing but good to me. But what about your happiness? She pressed. You can't keep living a lie. You need to decide what you really want. Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I thought about the sleepless nights I had spent, tossing and turning, filled with dread and anxiety over my situation. I was suffocating under the weight of my choices. I feel so lost, I admitted, tears welling up in my eyes. Sometimes being honest is the hardest thing to do, Sarah said gently. But it's the only way you can find peace. You owe it to yourself to figure this out. Her words struck a chord within me. I realized I had to face my fears and the truth of my feelings. I took a deep breath, feeling a small spark of hope. You're right. I can't keep pretending everything is okay when it's not. As I left the cafe, a sense of determination washed over me. I knew I had to confront my emotions and decide what I truly wanted. Would I continue to live in the shadows of my marriage, or would I embrace the connection I had with Marcus? The road ahead was uncertain, but I felt ready to face it. I texted Marcus later that night. We need to talk again. I have a lot to say. My heart raced with anticipation and fear, but deep down, I knew it was time to confront the truth. The air was thick with tension as I sat in the cafe, a small table set between Marcus and Ethan. My heart raced, each beat echoing the weight of the moment. I had never imagined I would find myself in such a tangled web of emotions, feeling pulled between two men who represented different paths in my life. Thanks for meeting me, Ethan, I said, my voice steady despite the storm brewing inside. I glanced at Marcus, who sat across from me, his eyes locked onto mine, a mix of concern and encouragement in his gaze. Ethan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Of course. I wanted to talk about us. I've been feeling like something's off. He shifted in his seat, his brow furrowing. Is everything okay with you? I swallowed hard. The truth was, everything was not okay. I've just been thinking a lot lately. About life, our relationship. Marcus leaned forward, sensing the weight of my words. You can be honest with him, he urged softly, his voice a soothing whisper. This is the moment to share what's in your heart. I took a deep breath, feeling the tension in the air tighten even more. Ethan, I care about you. I always will. But I have to admit that I've been feeling lost, and I've found myself drawn to someone else. The words hung heavy between us, the truth finally out in the open. Ethan's expression shifted from concern to hurt. Someone else? Is it Marcus? His voice was a mix of disbelief and pain. I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of my admission settle in my chest. Yes, there's something about him that makes me feel alive in a way I haven't felt in a long time. Ethan looked away, his hands clenched tightly around his coffee cup. I had no idea things were this bad. I thought we were happy. His voice cracked, and I felt my heart break for him. We were, Ethan, but life changed. I changed, I replied, tears stinging my eyes. I need to find out what I truly want. I don't want to keep lying to you, or to myself. Marcus reached out, placing his hand over mine. It's okay to feel this way, he said gently. You're not alone in this. Ethan looked up, his expression a mix of anger and sadness. So what now? You just walk away from everything we built together? His voice rose, echoing in the quiet cafe. I don't want to walk away, I said, my voice trembling. But I can't pretend anymore. It wouldn't be fair to you or to me. A heavy silence fell over the table, broken only by the distant clatter of dishes and quiet conversations around us. I felt exposed, my heart laid bare for both men to see. I never wanted to hurt you, I continued, my voice barely a whisper. But I can't ignore this connection with Marcus. It feels real in a way I can't explain. Ethan's gaze softened, the anger fading as he took a deep breath. I just wish you had told me sooner. I would have tried to understand. I was scared, I admitted. Scared of losing you. Scared of what this all means. Maybe we both need to take a step back, Ethan suggested, his voice steady, but filled with sorrow. If this is about finding yourself, you need to do that. I won't hold you back. I felt a wave of relief mixed with guilt wash over me. I don't want to hurt you, Ethan. You mean so much to me. Marcus squeezed my hand, a silent support in the storm of emotions. This is about your happiness, he said softly. You deserve to find out what that means. As the conversation continued, I felt an unexpected calm settle in my heart. I had finally faced the truth of my feelings, and while the path ahead was uncertain, I knew I had to embrace it. Later that night, alone in my room, I sat on the edge of my bed, reflecting on what had just happened. I felt a mix of emotions swirling within me, sadness for what I was leaving behind, and a thrill for the unknown ahead. I had learned that love is complicated and messy, filled with joy and pain. But amidst the chaos, I felt a newfound clarity. I was ready to discover who I truly was and what I wanted in this life. It was time to embrace my journey, no matter where it led me. Share this story if you believe that love can guide us through even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a time when you had to confront your true feelings, and subscribe for more captivating stories like this one. Your journey matters, and we want to hear about it.